Before we start, just a quick note. This project currently runs almost entirely on listener support, and we're still working to cover the costs of producing this season. If even a portion of listeners chipped in, say, €10 each, it would make a huge difference. If you're enjoying the podcast and wish to support, visit ko-fi.com/IThinkIsawYou. Enjoy the episode. I found a small, quiet room, a bit farther away from everyone in the program, so I could record these short interviews. In the courtyard, people are starting to prepare a bonfire for tonight, where they'll sit for hours, laughing and singing in Yiddish. But in this little secluded room, we can only hear ourselves. Sasha sits in front of me. I've known Sasha for 7 years now. She's one of my first friends in this worldwide Yiddish scene. And year after year, she's one of the people who keeps pulling me and many others deeper and deeper into this world. Interview number 13.
Can I just touch it for a second?
Yeah.
So fluffy. Thank you. I'm sorry. I never get to do it because these are always the press ones, the professional ones. Never get to do it. I always want to do it.
You can always
Thank
come
you.
up to me and ask.
And touch your fluff. Yeah.
Fluffy microphone.
I'll touch your fluff. Yes.
Out of context.
I'm glad you're recording all of this.
I'll record it. This is how the podcast is going to start. I think I saw you, Sasha, right? When you did not disappear.
It's very interesting because in my life, I have been following a lot of things that are gut feelings, which now, looking back, I'm realizing more and more. I followed teachers that I wanted to study with. I followed spaces that I wanted to be in, starting very early. My mom tells me stories of stalking teachers when I was in first grade because I wanted to study with them. I had no shame, I guess. And I remember a point when I was teaching a class in Yiddish song. I was still quite young, and I just remember sitting down in front of people and seeing their faces, following what I'm saying, and hearing my voice almost like from outside, like watching myself lead that class. And I felt, oh, I guess I have arrived to a place and people see where I am and I see myself that I have arrived. I think as somebody who is a professional performer, I often feel very present, very looked at. But that doesn't mean that I feel seen, and somehow seeing myself, it really was almost like a film or something. Like I really saw it almost like that, like I saw this footage of me while I was teaching. And it made me feel, I think I saw myself as not just, I don't want to say I blindly was following my gut. There is courage in following your gut. But it was so obvious for me to do that I almost didn't feel like I'm making a move. And seeing myself arrive. That's what made me feel seen somehow. I still have to remind myself of it. It's years and years and years later, and I still have to sometimes remind myself that it's a special place where I am. I need to remind myself to see myself. Does that make sense? I'm not sure that I can explain how it feels. I don't think there is a word for that feeling. It's really very hard to describe. I wonder if I ever had a moment when I felt like I fully disappear. I might be too loud for that. I felt included or I felt unincluded. I felt avoided. I felt lost. I felt like I would like to disappear. I felt like I would like to hide. Often in my life, I felt like crawling into my nest. But I don't think I ever felt completely disappeared.
Pashkela forn av dia deroshkela abi mit tiernen zu sein ay khantir und mir is wie a klocka
I know a lot of people might experience that you can disappear in a crowd. I never feel like I disappear in a crowd. Maybe it's my self-awareness or self-centeredness even, you know? Or maybe it's years and years of Yiddish practice, because I think like that's an important part of Yiddish music, Yiddish practice of community. It's a very special feeling of joining a space and being with the space and being with the rhythm of what's happening, but also being a strong individual and staying in it and representing what you are in this particular moment. Be it in group singing, be it in group dancing, be it in instrumental music, be it in just davening is that way, right? But it's about like this kind of idea of like immersing into a community but staying an individual. And I think like I really play into that. It's one of those things that it's very hard to turn it off once you've got to that place, I guess. So, yeah, I don't think I've ever felt completely disappeared. I've never been there. It's hard for me to imagine what it would be. Maybe death? Because, like, even when I'm alone, even when I'm hiding in my nest, I'm still there. I didn't disappear. I hear my thoughts loud, I hear my heartbeat. I'm breathing, I didn't disappear. Blood, I don't know, my neurons moving in the silence. I feel sometimes I can hear them. So, like, there's just so much happening. I think, like, that's why I'm never feeling disappeared. Like, for me, very often it is that I need that space to just be there with my voices and my neurons and my blood rushing through my body, and I need to just, like, spend time with that. There is a lot of that, and not be interrupted. It's my space. That's the only way I can stay loud, or not loud, but like I'm loud, I know. If I'm not visible to, I don't call it disappearance, because if I'm not visible to others, doesn't mean that I disappeared. Things we don't see doesn't mean that they don't exist. Things we don't hear doesn't mean that they're not there. You know, it's like listening to a folk recording, like a traditional recording. Like, you listen to something and you hear, let's say, a singer singing a song, and let's say you understand the language so you can understand the words. But if you're a professional listener, you'll hear things that some other people won't hear, right? Like, if you're a trained musician, you'll hear the implied harmony, or you'll hear what pitches they are, or what meter it is. If you're a ethnographer, you'll hear the background, the ideas, where this song comes from, what style it is, what is implied by the voice. If you're a professional singer, you'll hear the technique, you'll hear the sound production, maybe you'll hear the ornamentation, you'll hear the pacing. So, like, depending on who you are and what hat you're wearing in your life, you'll hear in this one recording so many different things. And sometimes by going through life and learning, you can go back to the same recording and suddenly hear completely different things. And I think it's exactly the same with everything. Like, if you don't see it, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It doesn't mean it disappeared. It means you can't see it right now. If I go into my nest, it doesn't mean I disappeared. It means you can't see me. But I'm there. My name is Sasha. I've been involved in Yiddish arts since I was a teenager, in music since I was a toddler. I'm a Yiddish singer. That is what I do. That is also who I am.
Sasha Luria is the lead singer of Vorspiel, a Yiddish psychedelic rock band whose music is featured in this episode. She's also involved in some of the most exciting productions and projects in the Yiddish world, so go check out all this awesome music on Bandcamp or Spotify. I Think I Saw You is a podcast dedicated to exploring our human disappearance. Every episode features an interview with a different person. In this season, I recorded the participants and faculty members of the program Generation J, each of whom reflected on their own thoughts and experiences of disappearance. I Think I Saw You is created, produced, recorded, designed, and edited by me, Eyal Davidovitch. The podcast's main theme was composed and performed by me. Mixing and additional sound design by the one and only Jan Brett. The podcast is supported by Paideia, the European Institute for Jewish Studies in Sweden. Say hi and let us know what you think on Art and Time Machines on Instagram, and subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen.